Hey golfers, I'm Drew Mahowald, second swing golf out here on the putting green at Braemar Golf Course on a brisk fall morning with Andy Thompson here.
It is brisk.
Yes, this is a beautiful fall morning, and it's really cool because we have Andy Thompson with us, a putter fitter at our Minneapolis store. We had him on for a couple podcast segments recently talking about his philosophy on putter fittings, and today wanted to highlight the alignment phase of the putter fitting. So Andy, you mentioned in that segment how for you, alignment is kind of the first thing that you discuss and kind of try to correct in a putter fitting. So why is it, do you think, that alignment is that biggest piece? And I guess in your experience, how often is a golfer's alignment with putting already off?
Yeah, well, first of all, there's only so much we can correct with a putter fitting.
Mm-hmm.
And there's three main elements of putting, as we talked about before. It's being able to read the green, hitting it on your target line, and then controlling your distance. The last two are the things that we can really fix with a putter fitting. And I believe the main one that we can make the most impact on is the alignment part. So hitting it at our target. So if we're aimed at our target, it's a lot easier to hit our target. And when I do a fitting, it's probably 90% of players are misaligned.
Really?
Yeah.
That is quite
some by a little, some by a lot.
Right. Interesting. And so as we get into this discussion, there's obviously going to be some demonstration involved here as well. But in terms of the putter designs now, I know that's something that we'll discuss here. We have, a putter with some toe hang. I've got a face balanced one here. How much of that can play into the alignment? And I guess how does that work into your putter fittings?
There's a lot of elements to a putter that can affect how players aim. And it's kind of like an 80-20 rule, but a lot of putter lines on the putter can cause a player to aim a little bit more left, a little bit more plain putter. Typically, people will align more right. A mallet, typically they'll align more right. A blade, they'll align more left.
Okay.
More offset left, less offset
Sure.
right. But again, it's 80-20, so we really got to get the player in to figure that part out.
Yeah.
Whether it's toe hang, toe up, or face balance, that more impacts where the ball's going to go, and which is part of the secondary part of the fitting after we've kind of figured out the alignment.
Right, and then you kind of work into the putter itself and dialing that in for how that player might align themselves.
Right.
So what we're going to do is kind of have you almost walk through the first stage of a fitting with me out here. So basically going through the alignment with me, seeing if I'm one of those players that is not aligned correctly,
Right.
or maybe I happen to be one that is.
You might be
maybe I am.
one of the good
Maybe
ones.
I'm one of the 10. So we've got set up here out on the putting green. You ready to get to work here?
I certainly am.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, so Andy, I guess at this point we've gotten past that initial discussion with the golfer, and now we're into the alignment phase of the actual fitting. So kind of take me into that process, and if I'm going to be getting fit for a putter, you've got the laser in your hand there, I see. So
Yep, I do.
How does this work? And I guess let me get started here.
Yeah, I mean, first, I kind of watch a player roll a few putts, and, I've got an idea of where they may be aiming their putter and what kind of compensation they're using in their stroke.
Okay.
But I want them to kind of get an idea of how they're aiming their putter.
Okay.
So I
Right.
basically have the player come in from behind,
Okay.
walk into the putt, get ready to putt, and then I lay the laser in there with the light on, and then we can both see how that player is actually aligning to the hole.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we're going to assume this is a straight putt.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Well, I'll do that then. So you want me to back up?
Yep.
And kind of walk into a putt.
Walk into the
Okay.
putt like you're going to putt.
Perfect. All right. So I'm setting up here. Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
So you are aimed from here, and what are we, about 10 feet here? You are aimed about a cup out to the right.
Yeah, I
so
see
about
that.
4 inches out to the right here.
Wow.
So from there, that's not horrible, but
Okay.
it's not what you would want, right? Or
Right. I mean, that's
probably
outside
a
the hole.
surprise,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I am. I feel, that is, and I'm trying to even think now if I have a tendency to miss one way or the other based on that or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's a big miss because I can see the laser. Right, there's a big gap between your hole there and where the laser was going.
Yeah, I mean,
big deal.
People are shocked, and probably rightly so. Yeah, I mean, everybody thinks they aim it right at the target. But when you're aiming it here, or you're aiming it out here, and quite honestly, I get people aiming it out here or out
Okay.
here from this close. It's
Yeah.
it's crazy. Rare to see somebody even within the hole here
Okay.
from this distance.
All right, well, you're making me feel better then about that.
Yeah.
So
So I mean, you're a good golfer. You've learned how to compensate from aiming it here and making
Yeah.
putts, and
Yeah,
you've
so
got
you
a compensation of some type.
yeah,
that's
so you
built
think
in.
a lot of golfers are almost manipulating it, right, to the point where they have this tendency to align themselves away from where they actually think, but because over time maybe they've just done repetition to sort of fix that.
Right.
But yeah, I guess your point is that the more reliable way to get yourself making putts is to make sure your alignment is correct in the first place, and then from there the putting stroke and the putter and everything kind of fit and fall.
Yeah,
into place.
it's just a lot easier. I mean, we're not playing on the pro tour and practicing for 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
So, getting the alignment right reduces the need to have to compensate. And if you think of this, if you've got a right to left putt,
Yeah.
your compensation is a little bit one way. If you've got a
Right.
left to right putt,
Mm-hmm.
it can be a little different.
Okay.
So how people relate to a right to left and a left to right have an impact on this as well.
Okay, so at this point now, so I'm getting fit, and I see that my alignment is kind of a tendency to be right of the hole. What then would be the next step in that fitting?
The next step would be to try some different putters and see if we can find one that you can aim more effectively at the target.
Gotcha.
So again, typically, I might try putters with more scoring lines on there,
Okay.
a little smaller head, a little more offset. I don't know what's going to work exactly. I've got an 80% chance of kind
Yeah.
of getting it. So I just try to move you towards the target. Of course, we want to get you in a putter that you like the look of.
Yeah.
So part of it is, what kind of putters do you gravitate towards? What do you like? What
Mhm.
don't you like? And see if we can find something in that realm that you can aim pretty straight.
Okay.
And even if we move you better, even if we move you to an inch outside the right, that's certainly better than 4 inches.
Sure. Okay.
And then
so-
from there, its style of putter can have an impact on this. So this style of putter that you have is a fairly neutral putter. Toe hang putter tends to want to open up as it's coming forward. So if you're aiming right now and we get you aiming it at the hole, we might want to have you in something that's got a little toe hang that wants to open up, because you're used to compensating like
Sure.
this.
Yep.
And a toe hang,
Okay.
is going to prevent you from now missing it left.
Right.
We want to make it easy for the golfer.
Interesting. Okay. Fascinating. So once you get the alignment thing, you then work with the golfer to have try several different others.
Yep,
see how
more
they
tests
align.
like this,
Okay.
and we get in there and find something that they like the look of, that we can effectively aim at the target, and we kind of work from there. Then we get them rolling the putt, and sometimes it takes a little bit to get the compensation that they've got built in worked out.
Sure.
Sometimes it just is pretty natural, and
Yeah.
it just flows really
Interesting.
quickly.
Well, now I'm just curious. I'm gonna grab that other toe hang putter and just see. Because now I'm thinking that, you might have me all messed up in the brain if I align this correctly, because this is just a, typical kind of answer style blade.
Yeah, let's try it.
All right. See if this is any different here. All right.
That is dead perfect.
Well, geez.
So that was an easy fit, Drew.
Wow. I'm making it easy for you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, now I
So-
got some decisions and some things to maybe change up here a little bit
Yeah.
with putting. So
Isn't that odd, though? I mean,
It
you wouldn't
is.
think that one putter you would aim one way and another
Yeah.
putter you'd aim
Well, and see,
completely different.
in my mind, for the longest time, I actually used a putter that had 3 lines on the top here.
Mhm.
And I went to the Jailbird earlier this year, and it's got, it goes the other way. It basically has parallel stripes, parallel
Yes.
to the leading edge, which is very different than the line that is kind of pointed at your target.
Right.
And it looked better to me, but I guess, according to this, I'm aligning it not even really that close compared to
Right.
the straight line. So
Of course, we want to still putt and make sure that
Yeah.
you can figure this out and make putts
Okay.
that way.
Right, but this
But
is
yeah,
that
that's a good
first
start,
stage.
right?
Interesting, yeah, because now I feel like, all right, I can step up with this, and I'm aligned. If I make a good stroke, it's going to be
Yeah.
Right in the center. Interesting. That's fascinating. Well, this has been cool to see. And now golfers that obviously want to schedule a putter fitting, especially here in the Twin Cities area, can go into the Minneapolis store with you. And this is kind of the inside look at the first steps they're going to experience for themselves here.
Right.
I guess as we sort of start to wrap up, is there any words of maybe wisdom or anything that for golfers maybe hesitant about putter fittings? Why should they be getting that done, especially this time of year as things are slowing down and there's more time in the store, especially up in this area? Why is it important to get that done?
Yeah, I mean, putting is a little unique in that you can still practice putting at home.
Correct.
During the winter, and getting a putter now and kind of getting this figured out helps you get your stroke kind of grooved. So if we get you aiming it at the target now your stroke doesn't have to have a compensation. You can build a really natural putting stroke versus something where you got to close the face or open the face, and kind of get that grooved and get your putting jump started for the current coming year.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a great time to get a putter fit, really.
Sure. Well, Andy, thanks for joining us out here on the golf course and spending some time with us to showcase kind of your process in the putter fittings. Of course, golfers, as I said, make sure you schedule a fitting at Second Swing, particularly a putter fitting. If you're in the Twin Cities area with Andy, he'll get you dialed in on the greens and making more putts, as he did for me. He already gave me a lot of information today about my game. So, Andy, thank you so much.
Thank you.